Hello and welcome to my rules explanation for Seven Wonders Duel. The PowerPoint for this will be available through a link in the description, as well as a link to Board Game Arena, where I will be doing the playthrough by playing this game against a stranger. So what is Seven Wonders Duel? Well, it's a two-player game, right? It's right there in the name, Duel. And it is played over the course of 3 rounds or ages. And it's a teeny tiny little civ builder. It doesn't take very long to play in person or online. You can get several out over the course. You can do like a best of 3, a best of 5, best of any odd number, right? There's a low barrier to entry in order to understand what's going on with it. So once you get it, you can just keep going. There's high replayability, not only through the base game, but also there are 2 expansions out. There's Pantheon and Agora. I haven't played either, but I still have played the base one a lot. So there's a lot of play even just in the base. So let's talk a little about it. Well, if it's a civ builder, how do you build your civ? Well, like any good civilization and any good sort of resource management engine building kind of game, you're going to have essential building blocks. In this game, we're going to have 5 of them. 3 of them are raw materials, wood, clay, and stone, and 2 of them are manufactured goods, glass and paper. Let's look at the raw materials a little closer. The raw materials will always be produced on brown cards. They're the only things that'll be on the brown topped cards. They'll either produce 1 or 2 of the material type, and it'll always be the same material. You won't have a brown card that produces stone and clay, right? It'll just be like a mega quarry or something. I don't know. I don't deal with stone. Brown cards are only available in ages 1 and 2. By age 3, the idea is you should have sort of evolved beyond, I guess, having to exploit resources for yourself and being able to sort of build up, being exploit other people. Probably. I don't know if we've gotten to that point in the timeline of Seven Wonders or not. So they'll either be available for no cost or for money. We'll talk more about how to get cards later, but that's just important to keep in mind. You won't use other resources to build brown resource cards. Our manufactured goods are going to be on gray cards, and there's only 2 of them. There's glass and there's paper. Similarly to our brown cards, they're only going to be available in ages 1 and 2. They'll only ever produce 1 of their type, unlike the raw goods, where you get sort of more efficient at producing them in age 2, and you might have some locations that produce 2 of them. That won't happen with the manufactured goods. And they'll again either be available for no cost or for money. So these are ways that we ourselves can produce these materials and these building blocks. But what if we don't want to make them? What if we just want to buy them? Right? There's a couple ways that we can buy them within the game, and those are going to be our yellow commercial cards. So in ages 1 and 2, they can provide us with either a choice of a type of good. So here we have a choice of one of the manufactured goods or a choice of one of the raw goods. And what this means is on your turn, you can choose one of these that this card is producing. You can choose one of these that this card is producing. So that's one option, a choice of a type of good, or an option to purchase goods, said that word weird, to purchase goods from the bank at a set rate. So in this case, you pay 3 for the stone reserve. You can purchase stone as many as you want, 1 coin per stone. And we'll talk about the base price of stone later, but keep in mind that's a commercial option. Instead of producing it, you were just able to buy it. Now, our commercial cards might also just straight up provide us money. We build a tavern and it's just money. Great. But that's not going to produce it like every turn. It produces it when you build it, and that's it. Our last type of yellow card is going to provide bonus based on how your constructed buildings have been built, as well as in-game points. So in this case, which kind of makes sense thematically. If you look at it, it's a port, right? So you will get 2 coins for each brown raw material card you built earlier in the game. So if I had a stone, 2 brick, and a clay, let's say I had 4 round buildings that I built over the course of the game. If I played the port, I would get 8 coins because it's 2 per building. So the idea is you're selling what you've produced through the port, right? And then you'll get points at the end of the game. Okay, great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about points and how to win the game, shall we? So, how do you win the game? There are 3 ways to win the game. You can win it through military victory, through a science victory, or through a civilian victory. And we're only going to talk about 2 of those right now. I'm going to save the civilian victory for the very end of the rules because it's going to encompass every aspect of the game. But the military and the science ones are pretty straightforward. So let's start with the science victory. So we have this board that we'll be using these symbols. We'll be playing these symbols to advance the conflict pawn towards our opponent, right? So as we get closer, we will be able to get some kind of reward. Or we won't get a reward, but we'll punish them in some way because that's what military does. So let's take a look. In this case, when my opponent is coming towards me, let's say that they played this one and then they played this one. So this first one let them advance 1 towards me. This one lets them advance 2 more. Beep bloop. The first time that they land in this space, they get rid of this token, which is a red 2 on a broken coin, which means I lose 2 coins. If I only have 1 coin, I lose it. If I have no coins, I mean, I don't owe the bank 2 coins later on, but you lose up to 2 coins, up to and including 2 coins. Similarly, if later they were able to get to this space, the first time they get to this space, you'll see it's a red 5 with a broken coin. I would get rid of up to and including 5 coins. So you kind of want to strategically do that. Like if you're going to be able to sort of pillage them and get rid of their coins. She only talks when I'm recording now. And the last space, which has a victory symbol, if your opponent gets to that space, they automatically win. Game ends, they win. If I get to the space closest to them, I automatically win, which is fine. I mean, of course that's fine. I want to win, right? So, but there are ways to mitigate that. Like let's say that they played these 2 cards. So 1, 2, 3. And then I built this wonder. I'm going to move it 2 back towards them again, right? 1, 2. Wonderful. So that's military supremacy. So the other type of early ending of the game can be through science victory. There are 6 of these symbols on cards throughout the ages. So I did this weird. These 4, this one, this one, this one, and this one, these 4 cards are found in ages 1 and 2. And then this card and this card, that symbol and that symbol are found in age 3. There's potentially 2 of each symbol in the game. And I say potentially because when you're making the decks, you're going to shuffle them and then you're going to randomly remove 3 cards from each deck. So it might be that you're removing like 3 of these or 2 of these and 1 of these, which would not be great if you're going for a science victory. There are 2 of each symbol. If you build the 2 buildings that both have that symbol on, then you can choose an available progress token. So at the beginning of the game, 5 progress tokens will be laid out. You can choose one of them, and great. You're super good at quills, or you're super good at whatever that is, or sundials, or smushing stuff, or wheels, or I don't know. That looks like a fan. I don't know. I'm not a science person, I guess. Or at least I'm not like a science person in antiquity. Now, if you collect 1 of each of 6 symbols, then 6 unique symbols, you win the game through scientific supremacy. And you'll note over here that one of the progress tokens in the game is a law token that has a 7th symbol on it. It's a 7th symbol in the game. Now, that might be in the game, it might not be in the game. Only time will tell. And we'll talk about why that is when we talk about progress tokens later. Mystery. So those are the two ways that the game can end early. If someone gets to their opponent's end of the sort of combat track, or if someone collects 6 unique science symbols. Great. We'll talk about the third way at the end of the slideshow. Let's just get right into how a turn goes. How do you play the game? So we've talked about how there's 3 ages, right? This is an example of the setup of the sort of shared tableau of age 1, age 2, and age 3. This is how they'll always be set up. 6 face up, or I guess we could say 2 face up, 3 face down, 4 face up, 5 face down, 6 face up. The inverse here for age 2, and then age 3 is just a fun little circle. If a card is face up, so here we have in each age we'll have 12 face up cards and 8 face down cards. If a card is face up, great, we've got 12 cards right now in this age that fit that criterion, and no other cards are layered on top of it, it is available for purchase. Well, that limits us, right? Because we couldn't take either of these 2 because those cards are on them. We can't take these 4 because these 5 cards are on them. So only 6 cards are available right now in age 1. In age 2, only 2 cards are available, these 2 bottom ones, because the other face-up ones have cards layered on top. And over here, age 3, similar thing, only these 2 cards are available from the beginning because they're the only 2 that are face-up and with no cards layered on top. Now an example, this over here is an example of this corner of the board, probably like 60% of the way done through era 2, age 2. So this card has been revealed to be this card because these 2 have been selected. Once those 2 are gone, that card flips. Now, let's say it's my turn, right? I have 2 cards I can choose from. I can choose this one because there's no cards on top of it, or this one because there's no cards on top of it. If I choose this card, I'm not giving my opponent any new information, right? I'm taking this, they're able to choose this mortar and pestle or this quill and ink pot, right? Because now they're both free of being layered on top of. If I choose this one, it'll let these 2 be flipped, right? Once a face down card has no other cards layered on top of it, it's flipped up and available for purchase. So if I choose this card, blink, blink, both of those are going to flip over and be available for my opponent on their turn because you alternate turns. So when it is your turn, what do you do? What do you do with this card that you're able to take? Well, you can do one of 3 things. You can construct a building, you can construct a wonder, or you can sell a card. And for each of those 3 actions, you'll always need to take a card from the display, no matter which action you choose. Let's talk about our first option, constructing a building. If a building is face up and has no cards layered on top of it, you can purchase it. The cost of a card is always going to be listed under the colored band of the card. So in this case, this card is free. This card is 2 money. This card is a glass. And this card is 2 money, a glass, and a paper, right? So some cards require nothing, money, resources, or a combination of money and resources. Let's talk about these 2 first because they're the most straightforward kind. If there's no cost, just take it. Just take it and construct it. Bam, you got a clay pool now. Yay! This one, if it costs money and you have money, pay the money and construct the building. So if I have at least 2 coins, I can build the palisade. Bam. And now I have this military symbol, so I would move the conflict pawn towards my opponent. Now, what if it's a little more complicated? What if there's a resource cost? Well, you're going to check your civilization's tableau and see if you have any buildings that produce that kind of resource. In this case, if this is my tableau, I have 3 stone and 1 glass. This building, the apothecary, costs 1 glass. Cool. I can take this card and I can construct it. Now, when I do that, I will not get rid of this card. This card is in my tableau forever. Think of it not as a resource itself, but as a source of resources. So every round I am producing 3 stone and 1 glass. Now there aren't individual tokens for these, so they won't accrue. They're only available that round, right? So I guess sort of the idea there is that they're producing it, but you're not the only one who's going to want to use those stones, right? Maybe they're always available to you as the leader of the civilization, but if you don't use them, they'll find uses for the stone. Maybe people will build their houses out of it, right? So nothing will last, nothing will carry over to the next round that you didn't use, if that helps. Okay, so we've paid a resource cost. Now, what if we don't have a production symbol that matches the symbol on the card? So here we want to build the caravansary. It costs 2 money, a glass, and a paper. We have 3 stone and a glass, so we don't have any paper. So in that case, we'll be buying that resource from the bank. And the default price, the base price for resources, is 2 coins. So I will spend 2 plus 0, because I have glass, plus 2. So I'll be spending 4 to build the caravansary. Right? Now, what if my opponent has production buildings that match the resource that I don't have, either brown or gray? If they have a yellow, if they're able to get it through a yellow building, it doesn't count, only if it's brown or gray. Well, let's see what happens. In this case, we would add 1 more coin per building they have. So if I'm spending 2 money, I have glass, so 0. I don't have paper, so that's 2 to the bank plus 1, because they have 1 paper. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. I would spend 5 money to build the caravansary. Now there's a third option for purchasing. If I have one of the buildings, the gold buildings, that gives me a lowered discounted price per resource of a type, then I can ignore my opponent's card and just pay that discount to the bank, and it's only a cost of 1. So same situation, 2, I'm going to pay 2 money no matter what, 1 glass, because I got 1 glass, and I don't have any paper, but I do have this agreement with the bank that I can get discounted paper, so it's only 1. So 2 plus 0 plus 1 is 3. So that's my best option. Short of producing my own paper, my best option is that one, right? I'm only paying 3 for it. Wonderful. All right. Now, another way to pay that we might see on a card like this is through unique symbols, right? Some buildings will build up or on existing technologies or buildings. For example, this one, you build an altar, and that can evolve into a temple. So thematically, that's shown through this and this sort of synergy of symbols. So if I build this and have it in my tableau, I'll have this symbol now available to me, this moon. So when the temple comes out, I can either pay a wood and a paper, which I could in this case, or I can just take it for free because I have that matching symbol. You'll notice that those exist in these 4 types of cards, not in the brown or the gray, only in the commercial, the military, the civilian, and in the science. So you can just take it for free. Wonderful. So that's our first action option. We can construct a building. We can take a card from the display and build it in our civilization, as we've done here in this example 16 times before, right? Now our second option is going to be to construct a wonder. So before the game even starts, you and your opponent will draft 4 wonder cards each out of the 12 that the game has in it to begin with. Now you'll only have access to 8 of them. So this is an example of that sort of drafting scenario. So let's say player A takes the Temple of Artemis. Player B will then choose 2 of the remaining ones. Let's say they choose these 2. So player A will then have the Colossus. Then player B will draft the first one from this group. Maybe they draft this one. Player A drafts these 2. Player B gets this one. So player B has this wonder, this wonder, this wonder, and this wonder. Player A would have this one, this one, this one, and this one. Wonders costs are on the left. They cost several resources each, but they do provide the benefit to the right. And when you build it, we'll talk more about what each wonder does, kind of. I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory. This means that they just are providing, like you can use one of those per turn, similar to the commercial buildings that have that same iconography. This symbol means you can go again right away. This symbol just means you get money immediately. You get the military This one means you get a military and you get to destroy one of your opponent's gray cards. And we'll talk about this one when we talk about progress tokens some more. Okay, so how do you construct a wonder? You'll choose an available building from the display, and then you'll tuck it under the wonder to the right of the card to show that it's been built and you've triggered that benefit. You do not have to pay the cost of the card. You're only going to be paying the cost of the wonder. And the rules for paying for the wonder are the same as if you're building just a card from the display. So, for example, if I wanted to build the Temple of Artemis, I would need a paper, a glass, a stone, and a wood. And I've got a wood, a paper, I don't have glass, and I don't have stone. My opponent has one stone though. So it would be 0, 2, 2 plus 1, 0. So that's 5. I'd be paying 5 coins to build the Temple of Artemis, and I would get 12 coins, and I would get to go again right away. Now, there's 8 wonders total, right? The game is called 7 Wonders. So once the 7th wonder has been built, whatever player hasn't built their 4th wonder, they won't be able to build their 4th wonder. That 8th wonder will go back in the box, and it was just a fever dream in an architect's mind, right? So maximum, you'll have 7 wonders in the game. Okie doke. So that's our second option. We can construct a building, we can construct a wonder, or, whoopsie-doodle, we can sell a card. If you're unable to construct a building or a wonder, or maybe you're not interested in any of the available cards, or maybe you just need money, you can sell a card. The flat rate for a card is 2 coins. And you'll receive an additional coin for each yellow building you have constructed in your tableau. For example, this player selling a card would get 7 money. The base rate of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This player selling a card would get 2. The base rate of 2 plus 0. And that's how you sell a card. So you'll notice again that each of those 3 options for actions, construct a building, construct a wonder, sell a card, they all necessitate getting rid of a card from the display. That is what acts as sort of the age clock, the age timer. And that's part of what makes the game go so quickly. Great. So we've talked about these cards, right? Our raw material cards, our manufactured goods, our commercial cards, military, civilian, these are always going to be points. And science, what on earth is this? We also have guilds. Guilds are dark purple cards that are only available in H3. And they reward specialization throughout the game. When you're constructing your decks, you might recall earlier that I said you won't know for sure which cards will be in a game because 3 cards are taken out of each age. You shuffle age 1 or age A, age 1. Take out 3 of the cards, and you don't know what they are. You put them face down in the box. You don't know till the end of age A or 1 which card you didn't have. Same with age 2, same with age 3. Except with age 3, you're also going to take the 7 guild cards, the 7 dark purple cards, shuffle them, randomly choose 3 of them, shuffle them in with the light purple, and that's how you make your age 3 deck. So you'll have 3 guild cards in a game. They typically, if they have a money symbol on them, they'll provide a money bonus immediately. Any point symbol will be provided at the end of the game, as long as there's not a science supremacy or a military supremacy. So let's just take a look quickly at what these particular guilds are offering. This one is, so when you see this, and this is true for any guild, well, hold on. Let's talk about these yellow cards first as sort of a contrast. So when this player played this card, they received 3 coins for each gray card they had. So they got 3 coins when they played this. When they played this card, they got 1 coin for each gold card they had, including that one. So they got 5 coins when they played it. Now, what this symbol means is you compare the 2 players' civilization tableaus, and whichever one has the most is what you base it on. So these cards are worth the same no matter which player plays it, as opposed to these cards, which are not necessarily worth the same. This card was worth 5 for this person, but it would only be worth 3 playing in this tableau. But these will always be worth the same. So for example, this one is blue cards. This player has 6, this player has 3. This card is always going to be worth 6 money. And then at the end of the game, you do the same thing again. Compare who has the most blue cards, and that's how many points it's worth, no matter who has the card. This one, similarly, whoever has the most wonders constructed, so up to 4, at the end of the game, you'll get 2 points per wonder in that civilization. It doesn't matter if it's your civilization. If you only build 2 wonders, you're not only going to get 4 points. You'll get the points. If your opponent built all 4, you'll get those 8 points. Similarly with this one, the military, same idea. This player has 3 red cards. This player has 5. So no matter who plays this guild, they'll get 5 money. And then you'll check again at the end of the game, because the coins trigger as soon as the card is built. The points will calculate at the end of the game. You'll have 5 if this stays the same. Then this card is worth 5 points at the end of the game. So again, there's only 7 possible guilds, but you won't know which ones are in Age 3 until you start playing Age 3. Because you don't see the deck until you lay it out in that sort of O circle that we looked at earlier for Age 3. So you might be like in this case, this is good because there's so many blue cards here. But if there was like a gray card one, who cares? Neither player went hard on gray, right? So those are guilds. The other thing that we haven't talked about in any kind of detail yet are our progress tokens. So these are our progress tokens. So let's talk about what each one of them does to begin with, and then we'll talk about how they are in the game. So the top row is showing money, how you can get money from progress tokens. Agriculture, you just straight up get 6 money when you acquire it, and then you'll get 4 points at the end of the game. Urbanism, you get 6 points or 6 money right away, and you get 4 money whenever you build a building using the unique symbol link. So if you used the altar to build the temple, you would get 4 money when you did that, which is pretty neat. If you're collecting symbols, it's pretty useful. Economy is, okay, so if your opponent needs to pay extra for a resource because you have a production building that they don't have, that extra comes to you, not the whole cost. So the $2 will still go to the bank, but anything extra they have to pay will go to you. These affect from the point that you get the symbol on. So what this is any further red card that you get will be as though it has an additional military symbol on it. So if you got a card that had 1 military symbol, it's actually 2 military symbols now. If it had 3 military symbols, hey, guess what? It's now 4 military symbols. Watch out, opponent. Theology is treat every wonder that you build from now on as though it has a take another turn symbol on it, which is pretty cool. Architecture lets you ignore 2 of the required resources for building wonder. So let's say that you didn't have any paper or glass, but you had 3 wood. You could use architecture to be like, nope, 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 doesn't matter. I'm building it. It's pretty handy. Masonry does the same thing, but for blue cards. Lets you ignore 2 resource requirements on the blue card. This is the 6th science or the 7th science symbol, in addition to the ones that are on the cards. This can count towards having the 6 unique symbols needed for science supremacy. Mathematics is based on these progress tokens. At the end of the game, you'll get 3 points per progress token that you've gotten. And philosophy is just 7 points. Congratulations. Here's some points. Now, each game is not going to use all of these. You'll randomly choose 5 of them. Let's say these 3 and these 2 will be in the game. Then the other 5, you're never going to see unless you build the Great Library. The Great Library lets you randomly choose 3 of these from the box, and you choose one of those 3. Let's say you draw these 3. You choose one of those 3 to keep. So that could be pretty lucky. It's a good way to get law if you're going for a science victory. It gives you that symbol right away. Otherwise, it might help you in some different way, right? So those are progress tokens. Now, the only thing we have left to discuss is the last way to win the game. And the way we do that is a civilian victory. So throughout the game, we'll be collecting things with these symbols on it, right? This like laurel symbol, which shows us victory points. And Once age 3 is ended, all the cards are done. You'll tally up the laurel points from all of their sources. And whoever has the most victory points at that point wins. So you'll count them from these places. Ignore these 2 rows because those are the special victories, right? If you got a military supremacy or a science supremacy. So this is the sum of the points from your blue cards. This is the sum of points from green cards, sum of points from yellow cards, sum of points from purple cards. We talked about how the guild points vary, and so you'll check it at the end of the game. Any points you get from wonders will go in this row, like this one. Any points you get from progress tokens will go here. This one, for every 3 money you have left over, you'll get a point. Put it there. And any point bonus you get from the military track. So depending on where the conflict pawn ends, whoever is stronger militarily will get points for that. So the first point value is 2 points if you're in this section, and then 5 points if you're in the section with the lose 2 money token, and then 10 points if you're between that token and like being able to win through a military supremacy, which is good. I think that it's good that it doesn't punish you for trying to get a science supremacy or trying to get a military supremacy, because it recognizes you probably spent a lot of effort during the course of the game to try to do that. So to be penalized for that in the final of a civilian victory doesn't seem fair. So you do get some sort of recognition for that effort. And then you add it all together, and you look at the final score. Who has the higher score, they're the winner. That's 7 Wonders Duel. So what I'm going to do now is head on over. It's pretty easy to get into a game. So let's play. All right, here we are in Board Game Arena again. Let's go ahead and create a table, and it should get filled pretty quickly by someone wanting to play 7 Wonders. And here we go. So first we have our Wonder draft. So they draft first, and then I will draft 2 cards out of these. Based on the goods they require, that's a lot of goods. I kind of like the idea of having that one though, because then I can take away 3 of theirs. And we'll do that one. All right, so now I get to choose first. Ooh, I'm gonna take the regular goods, and then I'll just be left with whatever they decide is good for me. So we start with 7 money, and the Board Game Arena implementation of this is very good. It shows you at the bottom in gold how much it's going to cost you, and then at the top it shows how much it'll cost your opponent. So let's see. What do I need? I need stone, I need brick. I only need 1 wood. I need paper though. I'm gonna take that paper. Yeah. Ugh, I don't want to take that. I'm gonna take this wood. I want that stone. They probably do too though. Yeah. All right. Well, now that I have the wood, I'll build this military. So it's showing they can't afford it. They only have 2 money. And it costs 3 money. This doesn't cost anything. They could build this wonder though, which wouldn't be the worst. Oh, this one wasn't in our video. So this just means you get 3 money, your opponent loses 3 money, and you get to take another turn. Ooh, I'm going to take this 4 money one. What do I want to do next? I'm going to want that glass, I think. Yeah, I'm going to want that glass. I don't want that wood. Yeah, I thought they might build that. Let's hook the glass. That's fine. So I have 9 money, which is a good amount. I'm tempted to just build this because that'll help me because it'll give me 1 each. Yeah. I'll build it with this because they can build that for free. I'll just build that. I don't want them to get anything for free. So we could both take that wood. They probably will. I don't see why they would take the palisade. I'm gonna build it though. Because not only is it a military, but it also has those symbols. And I do like those symbols. Do I want to build that? I mean, it's got a symbol. It's a very happy looking pharmacist. I swear the artist in this game only knows how to draw 1 woman. I swear it's the same woman in all of these. Don't they look exactly the same as the pharmacist? And there's that dude. What do I want to do? If I build it, I'm stopping myself from potentially, like, I'll have no money. So, Well, it doesn't matter. I could build either of those. I want that brick. Well, if I want that, do I want that brick? Yeah, I want that brick. So I'll build this. So they have to do this. They could do one of these though, which wouldn't be a terrible idea on their part. Because then they'd get another turn and they can take that brick. I don't know though. Do they want it that bad? I don't know if now's a good time to take another turn. Nope, they're just building it. Works for me. We'll make a brick. And then they'll get that science. Great. So now we're doing H2. Now, since the conflict pawn is closer to them, they get to choose who's going to go first this round based on what they see out here. What is interesting out here? It's nothing really. I need to worry about my wonders. That's for sure. I'm going to have to sell something. That's okay. Yeah. I'm going to sell this one. So it's the flat 2 rate plus 1 for every gold you have. And I have that gold. So, I hope they don't sell that. I want that dispensary. Is that the same woman? It might be. Would like that dispensary, please. Since they took this card, dang it, and built it in the Temple of Artemis, they got 12 money and they got to go again. So what we want to do, I like that card a lot though. And I don't want them to have it, so I'll just sell it. That's the mature thing to do. I don't want you to have it, so I will sell it. I don't need 2 paper. So I will. Oh, they get to. Oh, they're choosing a progress token. Which one are they going to choose? Ah, so anytime I have to pay extra, it'll go to them. But I'm not caring about that. I'm going to construct. No. With this one, I'm going to construct this wonder, see what card it reveals. So I get 3 money, they lose 3 money. Yeah. And I'm going to construct that. Wonderful. Wonderful. So 4 wonders have been built. What are they going to try to do? They have 3 symbols. If I can keep them from getting the wheel, we'll be fine. I'm going to construct that. I'd like to get this. So they just lost 2 coins because I made it up to here. Now, if the conflict pawn were to end here at the end of the game, I would get 5 points because that's this range in these three spaces is 5 points. Yeah, they want to make sure that I am not overpowered in that regard. So this one, I could get rid of one of their gray cards, which I'm not that worried about. They can go again. Do I want any cards from... Ooh, I wouldn't mind that card. Okay, I'm going to use this to construct a wonder. I'm going to build the mausoleum. What the mausoleum lets you do is you look at all the discarded buildings and you can choose one from it. So I'll just take that, because that gives me more resources. It gives me access to stone. So now I really have access to 2 stone because I've got that and that if I need it. There's that temple. Now, I wonder, I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible idea for them to just go ahead and rush these 2, because then I can't build this one. Yeah. That's what I thought. And they'll take that, I would guess, because that puts them at 4 symbols. Eef. I don't need this much wood. And I can't construct a wonder because now we're at 7 wonders. I guess I'll sell it. It's fine. I want that glass. I think I will take that glass because I'm fairly certain they'll take this, because it'll give them a progress token. I'll take the glass and then I'll take horse breeders. And I'll plate. Wonderful. And then we'll go into age 3. And age 3, they will be able to choose who will go first based on how the cards fall. So let's see how that works out. I don't know why they're taking so long. Come on. Okay. All right. They'll probably choose me, if I had to guess. Interesting. See, I wouldn't have thought they would have done that, because they want as much access to these upside down ones to see if they're the green symbols they need, because they need one of that symbol and one of that symbol. They're going to be able to see when I take this one, though. I don't want this one. It's fine. It's 3 points. Interesting. Still no science. Hopefully they do this one so that I can get at that. Chomp chomp. That's okay. Oof. I need money, though, because that's 8 money. There's no way around it. You have to pay 8 money for it. You can't use resources. So, okay. Well, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna sell it. That's really good. It's a good guild. That's fine. I will be building this, because that's really my only option. I don't think... They have so many more points than me. I need to do military supremacy in order to beat them. I potentially could, depending on what these cards are. But if they're able to get even one military card, I'm boned, because they have that special ability now. Don't mind if I do. I did it, guys. I'm gonna win on a military victory, because they have to choose this one, and then I'm gonna take that because I have 8 money for it. we go. Let me give them a good game. Let's say, I was worried about that science. All right. So let's look at our final situation again, right? We won from that. If they had gotten this one, and one of these three were the other science, this science, oh, thanks. Then they would have won automatically if they got that and that, because they would have had the 6 symbols. But they didn't, and they weren't really paying attention to the military. So that's it. That's how fast it is. That was what, 13 minutes? One thing we didn't really look at down here, it shows the links that are possible between buildings. So if you want to sort of plan, you know what age they're going to show up in. Like the tavern leads to the lighthouse for some reason. The brewery leads to the arena. That kind of makes sense. Buildings that don't have links. So these are the possible ones that can show up in the game. So you kind of have an idea. But remember, 3 cards are removed from each age. So you don't really have an idea. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day.